Hey everyone, I'm Clara Bennett, 36, a Portland entrepreneur who turned betrayal into a $12 million empire. Imagine this. I'm in divorce court, watching my husband of 10 years, Nathan Reynolds, chuckle as he signs our divorce papers, thinking I'm just his arm candy with no drive. He was cheating with his coworker, clueless about the business I built right under his nose. The judge is about to read my financial statement, and Nathan's smug smile is about to vanish. Before I share how that day slipped my life and sparked a movement for women's empowerment, drop a comment with where you're watching from. Hit that like button if you've ever been underestimated, and subscribe for stories of grit that'll inspire you to claim your power. I was born in Bend, Oregon, a small town nestled among pine forests and mountains, where my parents, Tom and Ellen Bennett, ran a family bakery called Sunrise Sweets. We lived above the shop, the smell of fresh bread waking me every morning. Money was tight. My parents stretched every dollar, teaching me to save, work hard, and chase dreams with tenacity. I helped at the bakery, kneading dough at 12 and decorating cakes by 15. My hands dusted with flour and my mind buzzing with creative ideas. School was a mixed bag. I struggled with math, but excelled in art, sketching logos and posters in the margins of my notebooks. College was my ticket out, a chance to build something bigger. At 19, I moved to Portland, enrolling in graphic design at Portland State University. To pay tuition, I waitressed at a cozy Pearl District cafe, juggling shifts with late-night study sessions. My professors praised my branding projects, and by graduation, my portfolio was a vibrant mix of local business logos and nonprofit campaigns. I landed a junior designer role at a marketing firm in Southeast Portland. Ecstatic to see my designs on craft brewery labels, boutique websites, and even a mural in the Alberta Arts District. That's where I met Nathan Reynolds, at a startup launch event I'd branded in 2014. The event was at a trendy Alberta warehouse, string lights glowing, indie music humming. I'd designed the startup's logo, a sleek, minimalist emblem for a green tech company. Nathan, a venture capitalist, was there to court investors. He approached me by the bar, his tailored suit sharp against the casual crowd. "You look out of place among these tech types," he said, his green eyes locking on to mine. I laughed, thinking it was playful, but his words carried an edge I'd later recognize as judgment. Still, his confidence, polished, almost magnetic, drew me in. He asked about my work, nodding as I described my design passion, but his smile felt rehearsed. I was 24, fresh in my career, and Nathan, 30, exuded a worldly charm I hadn't encountered in Bend. That night, he insisted on driving me home, his sleek Range Rover, a stark contrast to my beat-up Honda. It was the start of a romance that would reshape my life and nearly break me. Nathan came from Portland's elite, his family's fortune built on tech startups and Willamette riverfront properties. His father, Richard Reynolds, was a venture capital legend, his mother, Patricia, a socialite who chaired museum galas. Our first date was at Le Pigeon, a candlelit dinner with views of the river, where Nathan ordered a $400 bottle of Pinot Noir without blinking. He whisked me to Napa for weekends, flew me to New York for Broadway shows, and introduced me to a world of private clubs and black tie events. It was intoxicating, like stepping into a movie. But there were cracks even then. He called my design job adorable, a cute hobby that didn't match his lifestyle. "Why grind for chump change when I've got us covered?" he'd say, waving off my excitement about a new client. I loved crafting visuals that told stories, logos that captured a brand's soul, campaigns that connected with people. But Nathan saw it as trivial, a distraction from his vision of me as his elegant partner. 7 months in, he proposed at Departure, a rooftop restaurant with panoramic views of Portland's skyline. The ring was a 4-carat sapphire, flanked by diamonds, sparkling under the city lights. Diners clapped as I said yes, my heart racing with joy and a faint unease I couldn't name. The proposal was perfect, orchestrated for maximum impact. but it felt like Nathan was performing for an audience, not just me. We married in a small ceremony at a Willamette Valley vineyard. My choice, despite Patricia's push for a 500-guest spectacle at the Pittock Mansion. A quaint wedding for a quaint girl, she remarked at the rehearsal dinner, her smile sharp as glass. My parents, beaming in their modest Sunday best, didn't notice the slight, but it lodged in my chest. Nathan's family saw me as an outsider, a small-town girl who'd stumbled into their world. I vowed to prove them wrong, but I didn't yet know how high the cost would be. We moved into Nathan's penthouse in northwest Portland, a sleek fortress of glass and steel with floor-to-ceiling windows framing Mount Hood and the city's twinkling lights. It was stunning but cold, every surface polished to reflect wealth. I tried to make it ours, hanging colorful abstracts I'd painted and framing photos of my family in Bend. Nathan frowned. This minimalist aesthetic is intentional, Clara. It showcases our status. He swapped my art for stark monochromes, insisting they were investment pieces. Within months, the cracks widened. He critiqued my thrift store dresses. "You're a Reynolds now, dress like it," and dismissed my friends as artsy weirdos. My job, which I loved, became a target. "Why bother with logos for nobody businesses?" he'd say after I'd spent hours perfecting a design. "You could be planning galas with my mother's crowd." His social circle was a clique of tech moguls' wives and financiers' partners, women who lunched at private clubs and shopped at boutiques I couldn't pronounce. At a Lake Oswego gala, I overheard one call me Nathan's small-town fling, her voice dripping with pity. I looked to Nathan for support, but he suggested I blend in with a Chanel wardrobe or golf lessons. "They just need to see you're trying," he said, as if my identity needed fixing. I felt like a prop, polished to reflect his success, my own dreams fading. 3 years in, his control tightened like a vice. He monitored our joint accounts, questioning a $60 sketchpad purchase while spending $7,000 on a new watch. "We're building wealth, Clara," he'd lecture, as if my career was a drain. He discouraged trips to Bend, calling it a backwater town. My college friends stopped calling after he mocked their hippie vibes at a dinner I hosted, embarrassed by their thrift store clothes and local wine. "You're a Reynolds," he'd say. "Act the part." When I earned a promotion to senior designer, a role with creative lead on major campaigns, Nathan barely acknowledged it. More hours for what? A few grand? We're planning kids soon. I longed for children, dreaming of teaching them to bake like my mom did. But Nathan always delayed. "Not yet, Clara. My family expects trust funds, private schools, the right connections." His words stung deepest, one night after a client dinner. "What can you offer a child besides your little paycheck?" I lay awake, his dismissal echoing. I was losing myself, my independence buried under his expectations. I started to wonder if the girl who'd sketched dreams in Bend was gone for good. 4 years into our marriage, I found my fire in digital marketing. My firm was pivoting to online campaigns, and I discovered a talent for analytics, decoding consumer behavior, crafting targeted ads that drove sales. I loved the blend of creativity and strategy, the thrill of measurable results. Excited, I pitched starting my own agency, Bennett Creative Co., to Nathan. He laughed, leaning back in his leather chair. "You, an entrepreneur? Startups crash and burn, Clara. Stick to your sketches." His words, meant to dim my ambition, lit a spark. I wasn't just going to prove him wrong. I was going to build something unstoppable. I opened a secret bank account at a credit union, funneling small amounts from my paycheck. $100 here, $300 there, careful not to raise Nathan's suspicion. At night, while he slept, I studied entrepreneurship in incognito tabs, devouring free courses on business finance, marketing strategy, and investing. I turned our rarely used guest room into a discreet office, telling Nathan it was for freelance side gigs to supplement our income. He barely glanced at my setup, waving it off. Just don't let it mess with our social schedule. His disinterest was my shield. My first client came by chance at a Hawthorne coffee shop, Voodoo Donuts' neon glow across the street. I overheard Leela Nguyen, owner of a struggling vegan bakery called Green Sprout, lamenting her outdated marketing. "I can't afford $6,000 for an agency," she told the barista. I introduced myself, offered a budget-friendly campaign, blending my design skills with analytics, and asked only for a chance to build my portfolio. Lila agreed, and within 2 months, her Instagram engagement quadrupled, and her weekend lines wrapped around the block. She referred me to other small businesses, a florist in Selwood, a bike shop in St. John's, a microbrewery in Belmont. Each success fueled me. I worked late during Nathan's frequent business trips, converting our walk-in closet into a soundproofed call booth with second-hand drapes and old blankets. Secrecy was critical. Nathan's financial oversight meant I hid expenses in grocery receipts or used cash from my tits jar, a relic from my waitressing days. I reinvested profits into better software, a virtual assistant, and a sleek website showcasing my portfolio. My client list grew through word of mouth, cafes, yoga studios, artisanal shops. Mistakes were plenty. I undercharged early clients, overpromised on a tight deadline once, but each taught me to value my work. By year 5, Bennett Creative was a quiet success, generating $150,000 in revenue, all hidden from Nathan. A breakthrough came when my campaign for a Portland candle maker, Luminary Labs, went viral on Instagram. Their eco-friendly candles, paired with my moody, aesthetic-driven ads, caught the eye of a local lifestyle magazine. I declined being named, citing privacy, but the exposure drew bigger clients: a winery, a boutique hotel, a sustainable pet brand. Leela introduced me to Amara Desai, a tech founder who'd sold her AI startup for $15 million. Amara hired me for her new sustainable fashion platform, Evergreen Threads, and became my mentor. Over coffee at Stumptown, she reviewed my invoices. "Your rates are too low, Clara. Triple them. Value demands respect." She was right. Higher rates attracted premium clients, from regional retailers to tech startups. Amara also opened my eyes to investing. Money in banks loses value. Bet on tech and crypto. I started small, investing $10,000 in her ecotech venture and $5,000 in Ethereum, guided by her tips. Within 18 months, my portfolio grew to $600,000, my business to $3 million, all invisible to Nathan, who still saw me as his unambitious wife. In year 7, Nathan's absences multiplied. Client dinners, market volatility, industry summits with no websites or schedules. One morning, his phone buzzed while he showered. A text from Tay flashing. "Can't stop thinking about last night." My stomach churned. I didn't confront him, choosing strategy over emotion. I tracked his routine: Wednesday dinners at Andina, weekend trips with vague itineraries. I parked near Andina one Wednesday, rain streaking my windshield. At 9 p.m., his Range Rover pulled up, followed by a sleek Lexus. Out stepped Kayla Morgan, his colleague, all sharp blazer and confidence. They kissed in the lot, a lover's embrace, not a colleague's greeting. I snapped photos, my hands trembling, but my resolve stealing. Inside, I approached their candlelit table, their hands entwined. "Working late, Nathan?" I said, voice steady despite my racing heart. His shock morphed to irritation. Kayla bolted to the restroom, clutching her purse. "You're overreacting," he snapped. "You've been distant, fiddling with your little projects. What did you expect?" I drove home, rain blurring the city lights, my mind replaying every slight, every dismissal. Nathan returned at 2 a.m., offering roses and promises of working on us. I played along, saying I needed time, but contacted Rachel Kim, a divorce attorney Amara recommended. Over tea in her Lloyd District office, Rachel explained Oregon's community property laws. Assets acquired during marriage split 50-50 unless proven separate. Document his infidelity and finances, she advised. It strengthens your position. I dug into our accounts, uncovering Nathan's hidden Cayman Islands holdings, $3 million he hadn't disclosed. I protected my business, registered as an LLC before our marriage, a technicality Rachel leveraged to classify it as separate property. Nathan's arrogance was his blind spot. He never suspected I was building an empire. For 3 years, I lived a double life, a high-wire act of deception and ambition. By day, I played the perfect Reynolds wife at Nathan's galas, smiling through his colleagues' pitying glances. Poor Clara, so out of her depth. By night, I ran Bennett Creative, landing a $900,000 contract with a national organic grocery chain, Root and Bloom. My investments soared to $4 million, including $1 million in Bitcoin, guided by Amara's crypto tips. I worked from my closet studio, scheduling client calls during Nathan's absences, my laptop glowing in the dark. Nathan's affair continued. I found a $25,000 bracelet receipt in his jacket, dated for Kayla's birthday, not mine. The betrayal stung, but it fueled my drive. One evening, I caught him and Kayla in our penthouse, kissing by our fireplace, the city skyline mocking me through the windows. "You're supposed to be at Leela's," he stammered, stepping away from her. "Clearly," I replied, my voice ice. He didn't apologize, instead announcing, "I want a divorce. Kayla and I are serious. You'll get $150,000 to start over, generous considering." His audacity stunned me. "This is my home too," I said. "You two can leave." He smirked. "My lawyers will crush you. You'll be back in Bend, broke." I changed the locks that night, a risky but necessary move, and hired a forensic accountant to trace Nathan's assets. His settlement offer was laughable: $150,000 and my Prius, keeping the penthouse and his family wealth. Rachel countered, demanding full disclosure. Nathan's lawyers stalled, assuming I'd buckle under pressure. Meanwhile, Bennett Creative landed a $1.5 million deal with a sustainable fashion retailer, pushing my net worth to $9 million. I bought a Multnomah Village condo through my LLC, furnished with local art, hand-woven rugs, and plants, a sanctuary that felt like me. Nathan escalated his attacks, spreading lies that I'd cheated, alienating our social circle. Invitations to brunches and charity events dried up. Even our building's concierge grew distant. Only Leela and Amara stood by me, hosting strategy sessions over wine at Leela's bakery, their support my lifeline. "You're not just surviving," Amara said, raising a glass. "You're rewriting your story." The divorce hearing was at Multnomah County Courthouse, a stark granite building under Judge Olivia Grant, a no-nonsense jurist known for piercing through deceit. I wore a tailored emerald suit, its color a nod to my independence, and an amethyst pendant Lila and Amara gave me to mark Bennett Creative's first million. Nathan, in a $6,000 Brioni suit, joked with his lawyer, Michael Voss, a titan from a top Portland firm. He signed the initial divorce decree with a laugh, leaning close to whisper, "Back to Bend, Clara. Good luck." His confidence was a performance, but I kept my face neutral, my heart steady. Rachel presented first, laying out Nathan's financial deceptions, the Cayman accounts, the $25,000 bracelet, undocumented stock options worth $1.2 million. Judge Grant's brow furrowed, her pen pausing. "Mr. Reynolds, care to explain these omissions?" Michael fumbled, citing administrative errors. Nathan's grin faltered, his fingers drumming the table. Then came the moment we'd planned. Rachel handed Judge Grant a sealed folder. "Miss Bennett's financial statement, Your Honor." The judge adjusted her glasses and read aloud. "Bennett Creative Co., a digital marketing firm, valued at $7.5 million. Investment portfolio, including technology stocks and cryptocurrency holdings, $4 million. Real estate, a Multnomah Village property, $1.5 million. Total assets, $13 million. The courtroom fell silent. Nathan's jaw dropped. Michael's notes slipped to the floor. Kayla, in the gallery, froze, her purse clutched tight. "Miss Bennett, is this accurate?" Judge Grant asked, her tone measured but her eyes sharp. "Yes, Your Honor." I said, voice clear. Built without Mr. Reynolds' support, as evidenced by his communications. Rachel submitted a binder of Nathan's emails and texts, including one from last year. Your little hobby won't amount to anything, Clara. Focus on being my wife. The gallery murmured. Nathan's face flushed red. Rachel pressed our advantage. Your Honor, a prenuptial agreement clause, drafted by Mr. Reynolds' counsel, states that any business created by a spouse without the other's financial contribution remains separate property. Mr. Reynolds not only provided no support, but actively discouraged Ms. Bennett's venture. She presented affidavits from Lila, Amara, and clients attesting to my independent work. Michael argued weakly. These assets were acquired during the marriage, entitling Mr. Reynolds to a share. Judge Grant reviewed the prenup, her expression unreadable. After a tense 20-minute recess, she returned. The prenup is clear, she ruled. Ms. Bennett retains Bennett Creative Co. and its derived investments. Due to Mr. Reynolds' failure to disclose assets as required by Oregon law, Ms. Bennett will receive 75% of marital assets, including proceeds from the penthouse sale. Nathan made a choked sound, his hands gripping the table. Kayla slipped out, her heels clicking on the marble floor. As we stood to leave, Nathan cornered me in the hallway, Michael tugging at his arm. You played me, he hissed, his face a mask of rage and humiliation. All this time, you were scheming. I met his gaze, calm but unflinching. No, Nathan. I built my future while you destroyed ours. That's the difference. Rachel guided me away, her hand steady on my shoulder. Outside, under Portland's gray sky, I posted an Instagram reel from the courthouse steps. Divorce court today. My ex saw me as a trophy wife with no ambition. I built a $12 million empire. Your worth is yours to define. I uploaded it with a Florence the Machine track. Dog days are over. Within hours, it exploded. 2 million views, 80,000 likes, comments flooding in. Queen, inspiration, you showed him. That evening, I moved into my Multnomah Village condo, its warm wood floors and local art, a stark contrast to Nathan's sterile penthouse. Leela and Amara joined me, bringing champagne and vegan cupcakes from Green Sprout. We toasted on my balcony, Mount Tabor in the distance, celebrating not just the win, but the woman I'd become. To Clara, Amara said, raising her glass, you built an empire while he was blind. Bennett Creative expanded to a Pearl District office, hiring 12 staff, designers, strategists, analysts, who shared my vision of authentic marketing. I promoted Leela to COO. Her organizational genius complemented my creative drive. My investments grew to $5 million, and I diversified into green energy startups, advised by Amara. I launched the Bennett Freedom Fund, a nonprofit offering grants, mentorship, and financial literacy for women escaping toxic or abusive relationships. At its first gala, held at the Portland Art Museum, we raised $500,000, funding 20 women to start businesses. I spoke to a crowd of 300, sharing my story. Financial independence isn't just money. It's the freedom to choose your life, not survive someone else's. The applause was deafening, but the real reward was meeting recipients, single moms, survivors, dreamers, who reminded me of my younger self. Holidays in Bend became a ritual. My parents' kitchen filled with laughter as I taught my nieces to bake. We always knew you'd soar, my mom said, her eyes misty. We just worried you'd forgotten how. Therapy with Dr. Sarah Lynn helped me process the years of manipulation. You were gaslit into doubting your worth, she said. Healing means reclaiming your narrative. Some days, I felt invincible. Others, the sting of Nathan's betrayal resurfaced. Both were part of the journey. A year after the divorce, at a Portland Women in Tech Summit, I ran into Nathan, looking older, his suit slightly wrinkled. His new date, not Kayla, hovering awkwardly. I misjudged you, Clara, he said, his voice lacking its old swagger. I hope you're happy. I was. I'd started dating Owen, an urban planner who loved my quirks, From my thrift store finds to my late-night brainstorming. He saw me, know the role I had to play. My life isn't perfect. Whose is? But it's mine. Every choice, from the clients I take to the art on my walls, reflects my values. My net worth grows, but my purpose, empowering others, living authentically, grows deeper. If you're watching, facing your own moment of being underestimated, know this. What feels like rejection can be your beginning. Your worth isn't what others see, it's what you build. Share your story of defying doubters in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more stories of triumph. I'm Clara Bennett, and this is my empire. Go build yours.